You will not believe what Nick Wright said about the Baltimore Ravens. Or maybe you will, because every time you see this face, some say a face only a mother could love. Every time you see it on your TV, you know he's about to say the most blasphemous things just so he goes all over social media, just so he gets all the likes, all the clicks, whatever. Well, I'm still going to talk about it because, frankly, it pissed me off, okay? So if you want to hear what he said, stick around and we will get into it. But before we do, I got to shed some light on some things. Our September record for likes for a VOD, for a video, is 322. Okay? I want to break that today. We've had a record-breaking month already in October. We already passed last year's October number in subs, and it's only halfway through the month. So let's pass last month's like number, okay? 322 is the number to beat. Right now at filming, because it's not out yet, we're at 0 likes. So like the video. All right, one thing I want to just talk about before and get into is I got a question, and it's when will the disrespect end? And I'm talking about not just like this franchise, but you see it with the quarterback, right? Lamar Jackson is the most disrespected player in the NFL. I don't think any other two-time MVP has gotten more disrespect than Lamar Jackson has. And it just seems like this team and that player is always in everybody's mouth. And I'm sick of it. And this is what Nick Wright had to say just the other day. He said, how dangerous are the Baltimore Ravens? The answer is the most dangerous team imaginable. Didn't stop there. And then he said, until the games really matter. And first off, I think this take is lazy. I really do. I think it's a lazy take because 2 reasons. It waters down people's entire careers. It waters down people's entire career to just like what a playoff record might be. Every single regular season game they've ever played, just boop, out the window. It's gone. What's your playoff record? That's all that matters, right? And then I also think it waters down the regular season, okay? He's saying until the games actually matter. Did Sunday night primetime against Josh Allen when they were undefeated and you beat them 35-10, did that game not matter? What about when you went into Cincinnati, you won that game in overtime? Let me guess. That one didn't matter either, did it? Like, if that's his thoughts, if that's his feelings, then why even play the regular season? Okay, why not we just look at rosters, predetermine the best 8 teams, and just play in the playoffs? Okay? And like I've said before, I've talked about this in the Lamar disrespect. You can't until you do, right? The Baltimore Ravens aren't scary until the big games, until they are. Just because you haven't done something in the past, just because Lamar maybe hasn't had the best playoff record in the past, doesn't mean that's indicative of his future. And if you look at the list of notable Hall of Fame quarterbacks and how long it took some of them to win their first Super Bowls, can you imagine what the media, what Nick Wright would have been saying about guys like John Elway, Steve Young, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers even? It took those guys, especially Elway, Young, Manning, and Brees, a long time to get their first Super Bowl. Nick Wright would have cast him out to the wolves after year 4. That's the way he's talking right now. So do you agree with him? I know it's kind of silly for me to ask this question because I tend to know what the answers are going to be. Hopefully I get a lot of ends. But if you agree with what Nick Wright was saying, then go ahead and give me a Y in the comment section down below. And if you don't, give me an N. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. You're about to get an ad break. And so to make that time go by faster, head down to the comment section and give me a Y or an N. And unfortunately, Nick Wright, as he often does, he didn't stop there, right? He could have stopped after the first thing, and we probably would have brushed it off our shoulders and taken it with all the disrespect that us Ravens fans get every day. But no, he had to keep going on, and it was almost worse than what he said the first time. I'll get into that very shortly. But before I do, I got to give a shout-out to the brand new sponsor we have on today's video, and that is Ollie. Ollie specializes in clean, fresh, and nutritious dog food for your best friends. And right now, Ollie is offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste a personalized meal plan. So get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code ChatSports at Ollie.com. In 5 flavors they'll absolutely love, you don't have to be a vet to know that feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A perfectly portioned whole fresh food diet has been proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years. And who doesn't want more time with their best friend? With no harmful fillers and no preservatives, Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. Guys, I know when you're taking your dog from one food to the other, it can be kind of stressful. But what Ollie does is when they send you your package, they also send you a pamphlet that perfectly shows you step by step of how much food, new food, to mix into their old food. So in just 7 days, they're eating everything that Ollie sends them. And my dog's stomach, she has stomach problems, but not with Ollie, right? Ollie is fresh. It is made in U.S. kitchens, and it is the best source of any kind of food for your best friend, because dog is a man's best friend. So head to Ollie.com, tell them about your dog, use code ChatSports, and you'll get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Head to OLLIE.com and enter code ChatSports to get 60% off your first box. They offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you can get your money back. Look at how happy I am with my dog Applesauce. And if her life can get extended by 2 years from using Ollie, I suggest you do it too. So I teed this up earlier, right? Because unfortunately it didn't stop there. And it didn't. He had to keep running his mouth. And this one, like I said before, was debatably even worse. Here's what he had to say. If I'm thinking of teams that scare me, I would say Detroit, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Houston. If you're like, hey, Nick, the Chiefs in the playoffs can play Baltimore or those teams I just listed, I would say give me Baltimore, which is a ridiculous thing to say when you're talking about, hey, who would the Chiefs rather face, right? I would rather face Baltimore than any other. Mahomes in the playoff against these three quarterbacks has a 4-1 total record. He's 3-0 against Josh Allen, or rather Josh Allen's 0-3 against him. Joe Burrow's 1-1, Brock Purdy's 0-1, okay? And so the media, Nick Wright, guys like Emmanuel Acho, they always say, give me Josh Allen and the Bills over Lamar Jackson and the Ravens if who's going to take down the Chiefs. Why do we keep going to Josh Allen? He sucked in the playoffs against Mahomes, 0-3. Like, I just don't get it. And let's take a look at Nick Wright's crew, right? Because he said Detroit he would take over Baltimore. He said San Francisco, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Houston. Well, Detroit Lions, they lost in the NFC Championship game last year. So I don't get why he would take them over the Ravens, because they basically lost at the exact same point of the season last year. San Francisco, okay, this one's I get. Made about 4 straight NFC title games. They've gone to 2 Super Bowls in the last, 4 years? So that one I kind of get. Buffalo, this one blows my mind because you destroyed them week 4, 35-10 on Sunday Night Football for all of America to see. Cincinnati, you just beat them at home 41-38. And Houston, last year in the playoffs, you beat 34-10. And so what is it? Why are all these 5 teams, in Nick Wright's eyes, like on a higher pedestal than the Baltimore Ravens are, when they've done the pretty much exact same things that Baltimore has in the past 3 years? It shows to me how little head-to-head matters to media types like this, okay? Because when you look at the head-to-head, how are you going to look me in the eyes and tell me you'd rather have Allen or Burrow when facing Patrick Mahomes than you'd rather have Lamar Jackson? When Lamar Jackson against those two guys, he's 5-1 against Burrow. 5-1. Burrow's beaten him 1 time in his career in 6 games. And then against Josh Allen, he's 3-1. That's a combined 8-2 against the 2 quarterbacks that guy said he would take to play and beat the Chiefs over Lamar Jackson and your Baltimore Ravens. It's just ludicrous. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And I want to see if you guys agree with me, okay? So, if you had to pick one of these quarterbacks, who are you choosing? If you want Lamar, give me an 8 down below. If you want Burrow, give me a 9. And if you want Josh Allen, give me a 17. All right. Well, that will do it for that. Oh, good Lord. Stepped on my cord. We go on. That'll do it for that part of our episode. Let's give a little look at the AFC North update, okay, right? Some things happened over the weekend. Not a ton of movement in the standings, but some teams won some games, and some teams, the Browns, lost some games. So Steelers, they played the Raiders, beat them 32-13. However, Russell Wilson has been taking the number 1 QB, the QB1 snaps of practice this week, so we'll see how that situation plays out. The Bengals barely beat the Giants on Sunday Night Football 17-7. And the Browns, of course, as they always do, they lost this time to the Eagles by a score of 20-16. Let's look at the AFC North standings as they sit 1/3 through the season. Your Ravens are on top, number 1, 4-2. Same record as Pittsburgh. They're number 2. And then Cincinnati is third at 2-4. And the Cleveland Browns are last at 1-5. And you got to think they're going to stay there all year long because they just traded away Amari Cooper. So they kind of made it evident to everybody they're not competing this year. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys dislike Nick Wright as much as I do, then hit that subscribe button for me. Join the channel. Join the over 20,000 we got rocking with us here on Ravens Rundown.